Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 modding video, and today we are checking out a nice little update on the lever action shotgun that I've been working on. It's been a couple of weeks since I've updated you guys on any of the projects I have, and so I figure it's about time for a nice little update video. So, in today's vid, we will be talking about the lever action shotgun, all of the stuff I've done to it so far, and I do want to ask for some feedback from you guys a little bit later in the video, so I can get some more ideas before this thing's final release. Now, really quick before we begin, in case you haven't seen anything about the lever action shotgun just yet, it's going to be a handmade sort of weapon using scraps and pieces from other weapons all combined to make one new lever action shotgun. This thing will be dispersed into the leveled list so that you will be able to find it on different raiders in the early levels of the game. The damage is going to be somewhat comparable to the combat shotgun, though it's going to have a much slower fire rate and obviously a much slower reload since it is going to be lever action. Now, this mod is also going to be a collaboration project in which I will be handing this weapon off when it is done over to Jagged Josh, and he's going to be making a quest that will allow you to obtain a unique version of this thing as well. Now, in terms of what I'm contributing to this mod, I'm pretty much almost done. There are a handful of attachments I still want to add, as well as a couple of bug fixes here and there, but besides that, it's pretty much done. There's not a whole lot more to be done on my side of things. But after that, again, I'm going to hand it off, and then a whole quest needs to be made, and I'm not sure how long that's going to take. So this is one of the few mods that may not release on my schedule, so I just want to let you guys know ahead of time. That being said, Tier 2 members of my Patreon will get an early version of this mod pretty much today or maybe tomorrow, depending on what I can get done, that will be fully playable that you can test out as sort of a beta test, find any bugs, have fun with it, and just get to use this mod early. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested, you can go check out my Patreon. There you get, again, early access to my mods, as well as special Discord roles and a couple of sneak peeks, stuff like that. Check it out if you're interested, but it is completely optional. Now then, in regards to what's been done so far, I want to take a second to talk about things that I've learned and things that I've tried to improve upon with my craft with this mod, as I know a lot of you guys are aspiring mod authors out there yourselves who would love to get into modding, and it's nice to have a little bit of behind the scenes and also see people like me struggle and overcome those difficulties to show you that it is something that is possible and something that's achievable. One thing I really wanted to hammer down with this mod is getting better at texturing, and specifically with metallic type objects. Believe it or not, every mod that I've released thus far, I have not at all altered the cube maps, which is a very important part of texturing when it comes to making something look reflective and actually look like metal. Yeah, I've never used them, and this is the first mod where I'm actually implementing them, and I am going to be borrowing some cube maps from Ajakra. I could make my own, but theirs are just really high quality as it is, and they are available to the public so long as you credit them. So Ajakra's cube maps are awesome. They allow me to get the really cool gold texture on the lever here, and some of the silver parts as well. Additionally, something that I really wanted to achieve with this mod is I wanted to have a lot of attachment variety. This is something that I really appreciate in mods that I download and something that I feel like I haven't been able to provide in the mods I've released. Usually I'm trying to do something ridiculous like the skewer or the SMMG, and those kinds of weapons just wouldn't have a ton of attachment options, but now we're down to a really simple ballistic firearm. It's a shotgun, so I wanted to have a ton of attachment variety. There's already a handful of attachments already that I'll show off here in a second, but I also wanted to add some different ammo types and sight options, just really give the player a lot of variety to choose from. All of the attachments also adding a really unique benefit that makes them different from other attachments. I suppose with that we could head in game really quick and check out some of the attachments that are available already, some ideas that I have planned, as well as open up the doors to you guys to offer some of your own attachment ideas that could make it into this mod. As it stands currently, there aren't a ton of attachments available in this current state of the mod, though now that everything's set up, it'll be really easy to add new attachments into the mix. But we do have things like your standard full stocks and longer barrels, some shells here to make your reloads quicker, as well as some different sight options, even more stocks, and a couple of receivers and even some ammo swaps. So let's go ahead and see what's available now and give you guys an idea of what I'm kind of heading towards. The receivers themselves are going to be pretty simple on this one. You've got a standard, hardened, powerful, and advanced, all to give you different damage upgrades. Pretty simple stuff, you know, kind of to be expected with a weapon in Fallout 4. Right now I only have the short and long barrel, though I do want to add some vented versions that will have a heat shield over the top. So that's something to be expected too. I'm not sure what else I can really do in regards to barrels. It's a pretty simple attachment, but if you have any creative ideas, feel free to let me know. For stocks, we have the short stock, the wire stock, which is just the short stock, but kind of with some makeshift parts to make it a little bit more stable, as well as a standard full stock that you would expect on a rifle like this. I also want to add in sort of a marksman variant with some kind of a cheek rest, as well as a gunslinger variant that will have even more shells to increase the reload speed. So if you really wanted to, you could add on all those attachments together to get a really insanely fast reload speed. For sights right now, I just have the standard iron sights, which is a pretty normal rear sight, but a bent up fork at the front to create the posts. And I really like the style of that for a handmade shotgun. And the reflex sight is very much handmade as well. As you can see, some of this was done by Pig, and it's a bent up spoon, you know, going with our cutlery theme here with some parts and a nice little laser sight right there that will project a reflex sight of sorts, which is pretty neat. Let me know, though, I have seen some people say it already, if you'd like to see a standard version of an iron sight, one that's not makeshift. I could kind of see why people would want that. So maybe it's an upgradable, let's call it an improved iron sight that would have a normal post in the front. No muzzles as of right now, but muzzles are going to be pretty self-explanatory, you know, compensator, muzzle brake, and probably a suppressor because suppressors are fun. I'll do something goofy, though, make it out of a tin can or turpentine, who knows. For the tubes, which is going to be your magazine, essentially, it would seem that I goofed. Aw, nice. I accidentally left a barrel mesh whenever I was sizing things up. That'll be fixed later. The tubes will be your magazine capacity, and that's going to be this tube down here. I don't have any of the long ones implemented yet, but you can imagine it's this tube, but longer. This will also include Gunslinger's tube, which will have the mounted shotgun shells, which will increase your reload speed. Pretty nice. Yeah, barrels will not be affected by this section. That's a goof on my part. Oops. And then, of course, ammo. There are different ammo conversions. Since this is a shotgun, you would be able to load your own types of shells. As of right now, there is a standard buckshot, a dragon's breath, and a rail spike slug. I'll go ahead and show all these here in a second so you can actually see what they do, but they're pretty self-explanatory. I think that I do also want a standard slug, and I'll have to figure out which one I want to do more damage. Probably the standard slug, because it'll shoot much faster than a big heavy rail spike. I haven't quite decided yet. I also think I want to add a pulse slug option, similar to that from New Vegas, but this is where I really want your guys' help. Come up with cool, unique ammo types that you'd like to see in this mod. I've thought of a few already, but I'm sure that you guys can come up with way more creative stuff than I can. So let me know any ammo suggestions that you have down in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. But as for attachments, that's pretty much what is in here so far, and these are, I believe, all of the categories that will be included in this mod. So really, it's just about fleshing them out and adding more and more options to each of them. Now, one thing really quick before we talk about those different ammo types and show them off in game, there is something that I'm sure is on a lot of your minds, and that is the animations for this weapon, as notoriously, everything in Fallout 4 is left-handed, and I know that that bugs a lot of people, and I'm sure you're worried that I'll just use these standard vanilla animations to make this a left-handed gun. Well, and this is something I'm pretty proud of, to be honest, this weapon will be fully compatible with any animation replacer that you download for the lever action right off the bat. It doesn't need any patches whatsoever. It actually uses some clever nifscope work to make it so that whether it's a left-handed or right-handed animation, it will work automatically. I'm showing it on screen probably right about now, and you can see that the left-handed or right-handed reloads work. Same file, no optionals, it just works. Now then, as for those custom ammo types, I'll go ahead and show off what we have so far. You'll probably know what all of these do based on their description, but here is your standard buckshot. It's going to function like a shotgun. Pretty simple. Then we also do have a dragon's breath, which is a whole lot of fun and will set your enemies on fire, which is, you know, something you expect out of dragon's breath, I suppose. And then finally, we have the rail spike slug. This is a shotgun shell with a rail spike jammed into it, making it a pretty fun and interesting ammo type. And, well, that one missed. Pretty nice. But it just makes a single projectile, but it has a very slow travel time. I'm not sure if this is going to show up well on YouTube's compression, but it takes a second for it to actually hit that wall, which is pretty interesting. As you may have seen right there, there is some clipping with those shotgun shells. That's all going to be adjusted before final release, and that kind of leads into my segue here. Everything that you see in this video, again, is early versions of this mod. It is not ready for full release yet, so any bugs, anything like that can be tweaked and fixed before the final release. And thanks to my tier 2 patrons, we will have a lot of bug testing here in the next coming weeks. So with that, that is what I have so far with the lever action shotgun. Again, if you have any cool ideas or recommendations, I would love to hear them down in the comments below. You guys always come up with some really interesting and unique stuff. Again, this is going to be a mod that is a collaboration, and so after I hand this off, I have no idea when it will actually be finished for full release, so you can't necessarily expect it to be ready by the 1st. That being said, as soon as I finish with all of my stuff on this mod, I'm going to immediately start on my next project, so you can expect at least some more modding content to come, and then whenever this finally does go into full release, you know that I'll be there to cover it right off the bat. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and a nice little sneak peek as to what's going on so far with this lever action shotgun. I have an interesting idea that I'd love to run by you guys though. For my next mod, or maybe one of the next mods that I do, I was thinking of maybe uploading more of the process of making the mod so you guys can see a bit more behind the scenes. Let me know if that's the kind of content you want to see, or if you'd rather just see the full releases when it's finished. I'd love to get your feedback so that I can help grow the channel and make content that you guys actually are interested in seeing. With that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to drop a rating, subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace!